Okay, Over the Ditch is back. Cup week. It started early for you Kiwis, although I think officially she's an English lady. But the Melbourne Cup, if you like, has gone back to New Zealand. I suppose we can say that. Maddie Markham, welcome.
Yeah, we can kind of claim it, I guess. Sheila Laxon, of course, 2001, I think, ethereal. She won the cup, so back there doing the business with the singing jockey. So that was pretty cool to see, although I still feel a bit sick in my stomach after watching Okita Sushi hit the front top of the straight pool. I don't really want to talk about that Melbourne Cup for too much longer. Thanks.
Did it have leather seats or just a normal upholstery?
Yeah, nah, just a bit of everything. One of them ones that probably would have driven itself, to be fair. That's all right. I went each way, so I've got a little bit back. But I tell you what, if it had won, there was no way I was coming on your show tonight.
I was wondering what was going on, but it's okay. You've got, and I do, as always, appreciate you help me out. We've got to get the man a sponsor, HRNZ. We keep saying it. We said it at the end of the show last. We got one comment back. Don't worry, they do watch to the end. It's all good. So the first comment I got is it's a wee show, and then something like an hour and 15 minutes. Today won't go as long as that, I don't think. But yeah, anyway. Woodlands Stud have a fantastic stallion roster for the 2024-2025 season, headed up by the King, Batters Delight, down by the seaside, who just keeps producing quality horses on both sides of the ditch. Lather Up 2-year-olds are really starting to make an impression. Speeding Spurs standing for the value of $1,000. Sweet Lou fully booked out here in Australia, but still available for the New Zealanders. And What the Hill, the sire of Bet and Win, who won the Canterbury Park on the weekend and is now qualified for the Dominion Handicap. To get in touch with the team, visit woodlandstud.co.nz. That's woodlandstud.co.nz. Been a big show. I did catch up with Robbie Close with Kaikoura. I think we might leave that towards the end. We'll start as we normally do. We're not going to go through every race runner by runner, but there was one. I'm on the wrong screen. Actually, no, I can do it off this one because I've got it here. A really cool little result at Auckland on Friday night. And I should have asked you about this prior to the running, but where is this horse? I should have had it up. There it is there. Dolly B winning the Speeding Spur. Closes tonight 2-year-old and up for Maria Periton at start number 60. What's the backstory here? Am I throwing you under the bus? Because I didn't even actually say this is where I was going to start, Matty. But, yeah, this seems like a really good story.
Yeah, perseverance is probably the best term for it. It had 60 starts, 7 placings. Maria is a former Canterbury horsewoman who, well, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, maybe 5-6 years ago, moved up to Auckland, where she is now based. Trains a couple of horses up there, does a good job. This horse in particular, if you go back to its first career start, Paul, I think it was its first start, it ran second at Addington on the 1st of February 2019. Sorry, its first placing then. Oh no, it was a 2-year-old trot, so it could well have been its first start. As I said, ran second. The horse that beat it, Muscle Mountain.
Oh, wow.
So you probably would have thought that given you've been good enough to run 3 lengths behind Muscle Mountain on debut, that you might not have to wait 60 starts to get a win on the board. But Maria and the connections of Dolly P had. So incidentally, the other horse in that 2-year-old trot worth noticing was Midnight Dash, who's gone on and done a super job as well. Actually beat it home. So, yeah, brings some pretty good form. Ford does from early on in its career, Dolly P. But no, very, very cool moment. Would have meant a lot to Maria, obviously getting that win up on the board at Alexandra Park under the ribbon of light. So, yeah, been good. That horse is actually off the top of my head, a half sister to Big Chestnut Trotter of Brent and Tim White's called Randall Houston P. Off the top of my head, Dolly P. I think they're both out of Rocket. So, yeah, no, good to see.
Randall Houston P, very good. And Lindy's Rocket and Brooks Bandit coming up. So, yeah, a little bit of a bit going on there. But I'm tipping the Dolly P is after Dolly Parton without knowing. But, yeah, so No, I thought that. I saw that, and I thought it was a pretty good little story. Was there much else out of that Friday night meeting that took your eye, mate?
Dream of You is a very good trotter who will win a lot more races. Derek Ball trains him. He's beautifully bred. He's by Love You out of Paramount Dream, which of course is out of Paramount Star. That's just a beautiful family of trotters. That goes right back.
Matty White's 3-year-olds.
Yeah, part of that family. So then obviously carries back through to the Paramount GGs, Paramount Queen, Paramount Faith, obviously Paramount King, Paramount Princess, Paramount Kiwi. So been a very, very good producing family, that bloodline. And Dream of You is a very talented horse, probably good enough to work its way to open class. I do believe, obviously, the disappointment in that race was the fact that the red hot favourite, Pantani, made a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, you guys are a wrap for that horse. I watch from time to time on your Friday night lights, and there's a few of you very keen on that horse.
I just had to I couldn't hear there, Paul. My phone rang, and it clicked into my headphones. So ask that question again. I told you I'm not having a good night.
I just said you guys on Friday night lights are very keen on that horse because every time it's racing, a lot of you are very high on it. So obviously he's got a lot of ability.
Pantani?
Yeah.
He would be in the top 3-year-old trotters in the country.
Yeah.
For pure ability. He is a very good horse.
When he has to do it. The other one I noticed on the day, just looking at it just then, was Idjit Yah. I still say one of the best named horses going around in New Zealand at the minute. But anyway, I'm wondering it's because it's out of one night stand. So, yeah. So it's very, very clever. That I don't buy that one at all. For the 2024-2025 stallion roster for Aldebaran Park, they are standing Dancing in the Dark M for $4,400 or $4,600 including GST for the New Zealand friends. Chilled Seaman for that horse there. Sky Valley $2,000 for Australian viewers only, and the Australian representative, of course, Champion Sire. And then for my New Zealand friends, the unique opportunity with Aldebaran Eagle being available only in New Zealand for the service fee of $3,450. He's doing an amazing job, heading it up by Rockin' With Attitude, plus also Gatesy's Gem. GST is payable on live file. That is Frozen Seaman. Get in touch with the team at Aldebaran Park. Go to the website and all the details are there. Rightio. Where else did you want to go? Methven on the Friday. Actually, you're playing at home. So you've got plenty going on there, Matty. I can see the eyes are darting everywhere, but because we were live when we were at Thursday. So Methven on Friday, mate.
Yeah, good low-key grass track meeting. Probably not a lot of real standout performances. One for the locals, Michael Heenan, who of course is the president of the Methven Trotting Club, got his nice trotter Jasper Trouble home. Riley Harrison, she picked up a double actually. Yeah. She drove a winner, the last two winners. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she got another winner at Kaikoura on the Sunday as well. She certainly did. So she's going well at the moment, Riley. Doing a good job on the bike. Yep, absolutely. All right, let's go to Kaikoura. Firstly, Sunday, were you there? No. 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 My travel budgets don't quite extend to crayfish and everything else that goes on in between. So, yeah. The Sunday meeting. It's not, I suppose, one of the higher rated meetings, if you like, and I believe betting turnover might have been down on that one. Interesting concepts. People like them. Sometimes these fast eights, or like you said, the quick races, maybe they work, maybe they don't work. So a little bit of tinkering for the powers that be to have a look at and just see how they can get it a bit better. Look, I'm not surprised that turnover was down. We've got a situation over here now where there are more thoroughbred meetings being held on Sundays that they have to go up against. So you're obviously not going to get that punter buy-in as much as what you would if they were standalone meetings like they were in the past. But it was a good meeting. They had a good crowd on course by the looks of it, and something a little bit different. And yeah, the rapid fire works for a meeting like that. You get them all a run, one and done very quickly, and then everyone can sit back and relax for the rest of the night before returning the next day. In terms of highlights on the track, big satisfaction moment, I think, for Brett and Tim White. They've obviously been battling a bit of a virus through their barn, but for Katie Royalty to come out and win by 6 1/4 lengths with a leg in the air was probably pretty satisfying for them. It just sort of indicated that their team's back on the way up. So that would have been the highlight for me out of the Sunday action.
I will also do an interview with Robbie Close, and I will throw to that a bit later on. But he tells me he's gone out on his own. That's how good I did the form. I'm looking at the Sunday form just then, and I see he actually trained a winner as well. So I don't know how many winners he's trained. I'm going to actually get it up in a sec. But 6. So he's only had 6 winners over the journey and 2 this year. So well done to him. He's having a good run though, Robbie. He's been driving winners everywhere as well. And I find out later on that he's left Regan and gone out on his own. So that's a great little start. Good weekend for him, full stop.
Yeah, does a good job, the Goose. Very, very good driver. Horses very clearly run for him, and they have pretty much since the day he started driving. Incidentally, 3 of his 6 winners have come at Kaikoura as a trainer. His second ever training win was a horse called Majestic Mannequin, who won at Kaikoura in 2019. Then he won with a horse called Show Me the Grey, who I actually think ended up over your way somewhere. Someone asked us about it on the show at one night when we were live. And of course, post-painted the other day. She's a very nice filly, post-painted. Doing a good job. So, yeah, good to see her salute.
That horse was in Queensland, I reckon. The result we got back was in Queensland from memory. But no, good to see.
It was actually sold out of that one at Kaikoura to Queensland.
Yeah, so it'd be a year ago. I reckon. Yep. Yeah, that'd be right. Mark Jones has had a good weekend as well. He had a winner there on the day. His stable's ticking along very, very nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's starting to get some results on the border. He's also had a bit of the bot going through his stable as well, but he picked up 3 winners over the course of the weekend. Yes, 3. This one, What the Bell that won on Sunday, is beautifully bred. It's out of Belgallion, who is the mother of Stent, Arya, who went over to Aussie and did a good job. Lone Star Lad was a pretty good horse. And just a nice little horse by Orlando Vici that you know quite well, Paul, is also a half to What the Bell by the name of Olivici.
I was going to say, because the mare, I think the mare now, I've just got to check her up, Belgallion, just to see, but I think she's owned by Haras Trotteurs, or she was owned by, looks like she must have been owned by Haras Trotteurs.
So Trevor Casey, who is the Lone Star man over here in New Zealand, and Kevin Chapman, I think off the top of my head, they went year about breeding from her. Kevin Chapman's obviously the trainer of Beach Ball.
Yep.
So Kevin actually bred Olivici, I think, and then Trevor's bred from the mare the last, up till 2020. But she's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 foals.
Yep.
And everything that's made it to the races, bar Tinkerbell, who's running around in maiden trots in Canterbury at the moment, has won a race. And of course, Olivici's in there as well. So she's done a very good job as a broodmare of Belgallion.
Ismock was a horse that ended up over here with Aussie Missard. May have won. He might have contested the South Australian Trotters Cup. I don't know if he won it or not going from there. But unfortunately, I just noticed she's passed away. I can't remember. I'm sure Pat Driscoll must have had one of the horses out of that family or something. But I know that there was some tie anyway, because when I first started doing stuff with Haras Trotters, whose hat I've actually got on, he actually was doing something there. But nice little filly. And as I said, his team's going terrific. She's now at 2 wins from 29 and starting to go good. I have got their shirt on there. What the hell's that? An amazing week. Matty trifected the race at Auckland, the trot, and I'll come bring that up on weekly winners for Woodlands. Manawatu, Quinella, the first race, first and second there, had another winner there. I think had 4 or 5 winners in Australia as well. And we're leaving out, because we've already touched on it last week, the horse that went okay at Ashburton. So, there's he's actually going pretty good at the minute, What the Hell, so which was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We need these new stallions coming through, and he's starting to leave some nice tops. I think Bullet Train that won at Kaikoura on Mondays also by him as well. So he leaves beautiful types. There's a couple of them around the place that just look sensational. So, good to see him getting some results.
And some of those horses coming through, Judy J and the Lights, who got an invite last week. I get in trouble for that. The Ascent and the Velocity. Apparently I swap them up a lot. Just one of those random things that I do. It was pointed out to me. One becomes a trotting race. Next week it becomes a pacing race. So anyway, with the slot races and going from there, there's one horse I might touch on in a minute whether if there is there any slots available still in the Trotters race?
Looking at the nominations, no, there's not.
Okay, so there's one also interesting at Kaikoura. 24-25 stallion roster for Haras Trotters is out. Headed up by EL Titan, winner, leaving a heap of winners in America. Standing for $4,000, he is chilled. We also have Always Ready, eligible here in Victoria. Used to me, quality sire of 3 Group 1 winners, and the value price there is $17.50. There are discounts on all 3 of those horses if you pay early. We also have Classic Connection for $3,500. Again, standing in Queensland, this horse is, and important for the New Zealand people. This horse is frozen semen, actually will mean that those horses are Q-bred. So you've got a whole new market to sell to with them being Q-bred eligible. So make sure you get in touch with the team there. And for my New Zealand friends, On a Streak will be in person, staying at Waihee Farm in conjunction with Haras Trotters for the value price of $3,500. Breeders' Crown winner. Breeders' Crowns are on now. Frozen size 2, you can see there, back of the neck, not available in New Zealand, but Ekari D and Orlando Vici, the 100% producer and of course sire of champion horse, Just Believe. Get in touch with the team at harastotrotters.com.au. That is harastotrotters.com.au. Before we get to Kaikoura, Matty, on the Monday, and the feature meeting, Manawa 2, first of theirs. Well, they got 12 meetings now, and I gather when they race, Cambridge doesn't race. Is that how it'll work?
I believe that's the way it works. Yeah, most of their meetings are Mondays or Tuesdays, but well supported for the first one of the season on Monday, and some good racing there. Largely dominated by 3 stables, actually almost completely dominated by 3 stables. Stephen Doody, Stephen Amanda Telfer, and of course Michael House, as you'd expect. Armour Donnelly got the other win. But yeah, some good racing. And the good thing about that is the same horses will be going back pretty much from week to week. Michael will end up taking a bundle of horses up there at some point, I'd imagine. But the form's actually going to be able to be carried through from meeting to meeting, so that'll help from a punting perspective. Yeah, Michael had a very, very good weekend, actually. He had a great Monday. I don't know about weekend. Monday was a terrific day because he had a couple of winners at Kaikoura as well that we'll touch on. And so that would make, from a betting point of view, we don't necessarily always talk about the punt over here, but it would make it a nice betting prospect because you would be able to get that regular symmetry in form and be able to follow it a bit. Yeah, I think Manawa 2 is an interesting one anyway, because if you did a breakdown, and I've never done the breakdown over the last 6-7 years since Michael's been taking teams up there, the majority of races are won by 2 or 3 stables. And punters can back them with a lot of confidence. It was probably even more prevalent when, and this isn't a knock on Wilson House, when Blair was going up and driving the Michael team. And, you know, they were winning 4, 5, 6 a night sometimes and just absolutely dominating. There was a run towards Nelson, I reckon. It was just before Nelson or around that time last year. And I think Wilson drove 4 and then he drove 5 and the likes, and came back the next day and went back as well. Like, they were doing the miles. But yeah, they get up there to those meetings at Tiara, Nikau and the like, and they get a few results up there, but they spend a lot of time on the road too, so it's well deserved. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. That is for sure. Especially, I think he said it was 13 hours. They came back. I remember they came back for Rangiora for the first 2 races at Rangiora, and it was like a 13-hour drive between. They actually flew, but still just ridiculous to be aware that that's how actual far it is. Radio Kaikoura. Time-honoured race meeting. The scenes, the pictures from the meeting are just outstanding, and it's breathtaking. Did you go down? No, I was in the studio doing a bit of odds integration work for Trackside. Yep. Which, given all the news that was coming out about Cup Week, ended up being quite a busy day. All right. Well, let's touch on that. I don't know if there's any further update. Is Leap to Fame coming? Is it been? Yes. He is coming. Yes. Okay. Blood tests were cleared this afternoon, and he has booked a flyover this weekend. The one we are now waiting on is Swayze. I thought he had to. Well, they've paid the nomination fee, so they've just released the last round of rankings. So we know the 15 horses that will start in the New Zealand Trotting Cup. Aroda has not made the field. I'll say that straight away. It's 16th, but it depends what Jason Grimson decides to do. Swayze automatically goes into the number 1 ranking as the defending champion. So he jumps above Leap to Fame. He jumps ahead of Better Eclipse, Dalton Shard, Tech McLeod, Franco Merrick, Old Meteor, who are all guaranteed starts. Odd that the leading Kiwi, Chance Merlin's ranked 8th, but that's the way that the ranking system works. So you'll see them on your screen there. So obviously the Swayze situation was one that came as a bit of a bolt from the blue, I think, on Monday morning. And I mean, I don't know, Jason. He doesn't seem like a man who's backwards and going forwards, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I wonder whether, with all the question marks over Leap to Fame, whether they decided to have a throw at the stumps and pay the late nomination fee just in case he didn't come, and then they could jump on a plane and come over. What really surprised me was that even if he did or he does come, he's still going to Young on Friday night before he flies over Swayze. So
that'll be the most unusual lead up ever, that's for sure.
I think, I mean, horses flying in late for the New Zealand Cup aren't unknown. Smoking Up flew in on the Sunday or the Monday before the New Zealand Trotting Cup, and he ran second the next day. So that's not a question for me. But, yeah, it's a big task when you've done a 7-hour float ride on the Friday. And raced as well. So I don't know. I'd love to see him here because I think that's one of racing's great rivalries at the moment, is Swayze Leap to Fame. And as much as it might be a silly thing to say, I think the Cup needs both of them, because if they end up going to war at some point, it might be able to give some of these Kiwis a bit of a chance to actually get their hoof of the till.
Yeah, go for a pretty solid race. It's actually it's an interesting field, especially when you just look outside of it, with Aroda missing out, Lady of the Light missing out. Mostel Ben was pretty good the other day too. We'll touch on him in a minute. Pin Seeker, we've spoken about him a few times. I don't know whether Johnny will be upset that he's not in or is in. And then Da Vinci and Wax are 2 horses that are going good. There's a little bit of intrigue with those horses that have missed out. I'm not saying they deserve their spot over anyone in that field. I think they'd be pretty hard pressed to argue that. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and it always is. It's when they brought in the ranking system, I can't even remember how many years it is now, it might be 10 or so that they've done it. Every year without fail has created a bone of contention somewhere in some corner that a horse has been unfairly treated. But what I've been pleased with is from the outset they have not wavered from their initial decision, which doesn't see horses being dropped the places. So in order for a horse to fall down a place, another horse has to overtake it. It can't be pushed down. So that makes sure that you've got the best possible field going into the Cup. And to be fair, with maybe the exception of maybe 1 or 2, I think we've pretty much got the best possible Cup field we've got. Obviously, we lost Sooner the Better. He was withdrawn this morning after a poor run not a poor run, sorry, that's being rude to the horse. After things didn't go right for him at Kaikoura, he was obviously withdrawn. So that effectively meant that the debate became between Beach Ball and Aroda for that last spot. You could argue that Aroda's form over in Queensland is good enough, whereas Beach Ball has galloped in every start that he's had here pretty much and taken little to no part. So, I think we're about where we need to be. Mo'unga getting in obviously was the big move after Monday, and we'll talk about that Kaikoura Cup. And then, of course, there was the Dominion with the news coming out on Monday that Muscle Mountain
is out.
Is out. And then we obviously saw the withdrawals of Call Me the Breeze, I'm Ready Jet. So that meant that down the bottom of that field, Greg and Jess's trotter, who didn't look all that comfortable at Kaikoura on Monday, 1 overall that is, not Just Believe, Maui and I Dream of Jeannie have snuck their way into the field. So good results for them.
You wouldn't believe what I just did there, Matty. I tell you, I could have had it up half an hour ago. But anyway, just call me an idiot, and it is all good to go. So Maui does get in there. He was a Jimmy Carter, Eurocash, Cody Bandana, Tua Tungata. Probably if he had won the other day, he might have made that a little bit interesting, Matty.
Yeah, I haven't had a real good look at it, but I think probably the unlucky horse to miss out there is Jimmy Carter. Yep. He ran third behind, I just can't quite remember which horse it was, in one of the lead-up races. And I would argue that potentially his form, or that fourth, should have probably been enough to get him in, but he did make a mistake at Ashburton. So, whereas I Dream of Jeannie run fourth in the Banks Peninsula Trotting Cup, and of course second in the Oamaru Mares race, so probably deserves its spot. But yeah, all the actions up the top of that field. Obviously, Oscar, Just Believe, Bet and Win. And the real interest horse for me now is RC Phoenix and just how he travels over and how he goes.
Well, it was interesting because I was told he wasn't going, and now obviously he is going, but I haven't seen a comment anywhere which flight he's on. There was a flight today from Melbourne to Christchurch via Auckland that only had 2 horses down on it. So I'm wondering when he's flying out. He must have been on that plane and no one's reported about it.
I haven't heard when he was due to fly in. I presume he's here by now. I know that Kiang Sahara has been booked in to go in and have a bowl round Addington Raceway.
She was on that flight. Kiang Sahara.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the other horse was a pacer. Its name's bloody left me.
Catch a Wave?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Catch a Wave. So they were the 2 horses earmarked onto that flight. They were the only 2 names that were mentioned. That doesn't mean he wasn't on, but I haven't seen anything else to say that he was. So, yeah. That does throw a lot of intrigue. He possibly can't beat Just Believe Everything Going Right, but you throw a standing start into it, well, that gives him a chance. And where does he then shape up against horses like Bet and Win? Mystic Max was good the other day, Oscar Bonavina. So, yeah, that does throw a bit of intrigue into the race, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I think they're all on a similar boat, aren't they? You don't know whether they can beat a fully functioning Just Believe if he turns up and everything goes right. But the all-important barrier draw is being held at 12 p.m. New Zealand time at Addington on Wednesday.
Yep.
So that will be out, and that's going to be really important. As we've talked about before, that 2-mile starting point at Addington can be a little bit tricky for some. So there's going to be a lot riding for a lot of connections on what marble they end up picking up. So looking forward to that. And that's obviously part of the Cup trials too, where Just Believe, He's From Heaven, both go around during the day as well.
No, very good. Matty, I'm going to throw to the interview with Robbie Close, and we'll come back. We'll talk about the Cup straight away.
Go the Goose.
Right, 2024 Kaikoura Cup winning reinsman Robbie Close joins me. Firstly, Robbie, congratulations. Great effort for yourself and Moonga yesterday.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, listeners.
Is that how you say his name for a start, Moonga? I listen to the race callers. I try to have a little bit of Kiwi in me, but that's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think so. It's something, no, it was sort of named after Richie Moonga, so it's probably got that Maori twang to it anyway.
I'll touch on that in a minute because I did see an article about it going in there. He's been in terrific form. I'm going to put the race over the top of this, Robbie, as we're going here, but he's been in absolutely terrific form. But these sorts of races, they're big tests because you can see the crowd there on the side. Like it's just it's an amazing event, but there's so much pressure with the crowd so close to you.
Oh, definitely. And, especially with a horse like him, he can be a nervous fella at times, and he has over-raced in several races. But, there's one good thing about him is standing start manners are pretty good.
He was awesome. Yeah, he just stepped there in front of us and he was awesome. And then it gets a bit aggressive. After you had to, I suppose, wait for American Me and then cross him and go to the front after that. But were you confident you were going to get to the front?
I thought if I let Jared O'Reilly cross on American Me, probably hasn't been racing up to its best, but it did trial good the other day. I thought if I let him go, he would hand to me if I but I didn't want to chase my one around the first bend because he does wear spreaders. He does go close to a knee, so I just didn't want to go too hard to that first bend.
He's absolutely. We'll touch on that again in a sec. The race is outstanding for the Australians watching this. What does it feel like when you go down the back straight? Sometimes you go down the back straight in races and you're all on your own. There you've got the crowd right around you, the entire race circuit, and you only drive there once a year. What is that feeling like just in a big race?
Oh, it's unbelievable to warm up. You go around in the warm up, and you just look around and see the beach on one side, and then all the caravans and people in the middle of the track, and then the whole side of the hills full of people as well. It's an unreal feeling, really.
Yeah. Just here with a lap to go, Wags makes his move, and he was phenomenal, I think, yesterday. Can go in the depth, didn't want to hand up. How was your confidence here? You must have been thinking, oh, this is nice, boys, keep going.
Yeah, my fellow, he does follow a good tempo, and especially the way he relaxed during the running. That's the key part of him. And he relaxed beautifully. And when they put the speed on with a lap to go, I was happy, but you just hope the leader will get you to the lane. And Sam Otley sure did that.
Yeah, he's been going terrific. He wasn't beaten that far again today, but you picked the right horse to follow. His buy better's delight. He wears spreaders. Arden Rooney's actually won this race twice. It is a unique track, isn't it? Like you would think horses that hit their knee around that flat last turn wouldn't get around it, but if you're in the right spot, it doesn't affect you. Yeah,
especially being on the fence where I was, but I do find with him he does actually get the bends better than what he does the straights at some tracks. So and Regan was pretty confident he'd get round. He has worked around a few smaller tracks in his time, and he was confident he'd get round, and I thought I would as well.
Yeah, you're very patient up here. Did you think you had it here?
I know he's got a lot of speed, and when he let down pretty quick, and I was happy just to leave the hood on and hopefully be ready on Tuesday.
Yeah, phenomenal speed that he did show in it. And again, anyone that's had horses and the like, generally when you put spreaders on them, you lose that little bit of speed if you like. That's just an amazing turn of foot, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's unreal quick, and he's quite funny. He's probably only like going real slow at home. You wouldn't think he'd wear spreaders, but at that full flight, he can go close. So that's sort of why they're there, and just a precautionary matter, and it does help him a lot.
Just waiting. Actually, I shouldn't. The other computer will probably do it for me better. The association you and this horse have had. Pretty unique. I think he's had 22 starts now, and you've been on him all bar 4, I think. 2 of those with Mark Errol when he was a junior, and 1 of those Mark 1. But you've won every other race. 21 starts it is now. Sorry, and nine wins. So you've won the 8. Must be great to have a nice relationship, with a horse like this, and a horse that's just progressing so far through.
Oh yeah, it's he's a cool horse, and it's great for the owners and Cam. The owners had to be patient at the start, and then that's how Regan and the other owner Cam ended up with him, and and now he's probably paying the rewards back anyway, and he's just turned to a sort of professional wee racehorse, and hopefully he keeps getting better and better.
Is there a reason why he's taken so long? Just because he does hit a knee pretty solid and those sorts of things, or?
He's just had a few minor issues start of his career as a late yearling, early 2-year-old. So he ended up in the paddock out in the paddock for 12 months, and I think that's how Regan and Cam ended up with him. The other owners were sort of going to put him by the wayside, and they said, Regan and Cam said, why don't you have a go? And they jumped at the opportunity because he was superly bred, and he actually can misbehave every now and again. He has kicked me out of the cart a few years ago, but he's got that attitude behind him. But nowadays he's perfect out on the track and getting better and better.
Has a tendency still to want to kick out every now and then, or not?
When he is fresh, he can, but he hasn't done it for a while. So touch wood, he doesn't do it for a while yet.
Yeah, Cam Kirkwood, of course, is the other Cam that you keep talking about. Hopefully he's good to train for, but I know he does help out there as well. So it must have been a pretty easy morning to rock up to work for all you guys this morning after a win like that.
Yeah, it was great for Cam and Regan. They put a lot into it, and Cam always brings his own wages, and so Regan's pretty happy about that. He only helps out on the weekend, but he brings his own wages, and just happy to drive fast work every now and again.
Regan's having an amazing run. It's been spoken about how he changed things up a little bit. Went away for a long holiday, left you to do the horses through the winter months. But he's come back, and fair to say he's just in scintillating form. You're just crazy if you don't back a horse trained by Todd.
Yeah, his team's going super, and it's a massive credit to him. He went away and come back and said, I just want more quality over quantity, and probably hasn't sort of cut the numbers, but the team's probably racing in the best of best they ever have.
I'm going to go with Masterpiece, Master Place, the 2-year-old.
Master Lavros.
No, the 2-year-old.
Oh, the 2-year-old Marketplace.
Marketplace, thank you. I knew I wasn't quite all over that. He's just been sensational. I spoke to Regan prior to him winning the Sire Stakes there a little while ago. He's just a phenomenal little horse, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's actually a true professional. He's unreal quick. I've sat behind him a few times. I drove him early on at the trials, and he's one horse that has a ton of speed. And I'd hate to know what he can actually run a quarter in on a hot tempo, because he is lightning.
Yeah. Robbie, a little bit about yourself for some of the Australians that won't know you. I've had a look. I think, where did I see it? 536 wins. You've had. This is probably not as your best year, but as far as your UDRs are, it's well and truly up there. How long you been with Regan, and how long you been driving?
I've actually left Regan's now. I've sort of moved away, but I was at Regan's for over 10 years. He's looked after me through thick and thin, and after 10 years I moved elsewhere, and now work for Andrew Stewart and train a couple of my own, so it's quite good. But I can't thank Regan, his owners, and all the other staff enough. And
they in great, you say I'm the winger, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's big thank you to them, especially Cam, is one of my best mates. Is one of my best mans at my wedding. So we've been mates since we're 10 or 12 years old, and go through the bottom to the top, and it's good. Yep.
Are you enjoying the challenge, being out on your own?
Yeah, it is. It is different. Regan supported me from when I had about 60 wins to when I left and I had over 500. So, he supported me a lot. And back in the junior days, I was able to travel, and he was really good about it. And I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, and I reckon you're driving terrific, because you seem to get winners week in, week out. And it is different, isn't it? In New Zealand, you nearly have to go to the meetings when they're on, because you don't have as many as what we do here in Australia. So I suppose socially, in that, it must put a bit of a drain on you. How are you finding that now with training horses as well on your own? Like you have to get up early. I'm tipping some mornings to get them worked.
Yeah, no, I've got a pretty good relationship here where I am at the moment at Andrew Stewart's. So we sort of working together, and his team, we're trying to rebuild them. There's a couple that they've just been around the traps enough, but there's a lot coming through, and it's the sort of thing. It's always a challenge, and you got to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're only young once. How old are you, Robbie?
33, if I remember correctly.
Wait to get to my age, you have more trouble than that. You actually drove another horse. So you drove another winner. You drove a couple other horses, but a little horse. I've got the Woodlands gear on. You're doing the right thing for me by the Woodlands. But the horse sitting last in the picture now for Mark Jones, just having its first start. Sassy Ann, it's called, by Lather Up. I say before about horses wearing big spreaders and that, it is a hard track to make ground on, especially around that last turn. Unbelievable turn of foot from this little 2-year-old having its debut run, mate.
Oh, it was unreal. Massive credit goes to Mark Jones. All he said was drive for its speed, and I was able to do that. They bowled along a wee bit around the last bend, and I was able to rip home down the outside. I did get a little wee bit lost in the run home, but was still able to pick them up pretty quick, easy.
It's funny you say got lost. Once you can actually see it, I'll actually scroll back since people have just been able to see it just there, but try and get it to about here. It does go, it wobbles a bit wide right there, and then all of a sudden you're not asking it too much. Then it just flattens out, just dead straight and flattens out, and it's got a nice little future, you would imagine, with that sort of speed.
Oh, definitely. And Mark's always, he has them pinging for the big days, and he had her spot on, and he drove her at the trials a few times, and he said it is quite a nice filly going forward. It's just it doesn't know much, so we were able to drive to his instructions, and it worked out good.
You're starting training and that, and you've worked closely with Regan as well over the journey. Do you want to maintain to be a driver, or is it the training? Because listening to you just then, you've listened to a leading driver in New Zealand who now just trains, but you sound a little bit sort of trainer and driverish now, if you like, in a good way.
Yeah, that's sort of what I want to do. I don't want to train too many, but hey, I do love the training side of things, and driving's it's probably not going to be the be all end all. You've got to be one of the best, and you always try to be, and it's hard in New Zealand with a lot of other big drivers out there. So if I can just chip away most years and get a few drives, and I'm happy.
No, very good. Robbie, well done. Hopefully, at the time of we're doing this, we're not 100% sure if he's in the cup field or not, but hopefully he is there and on the big stage. Hopefully you're winning. Hopefully I'm trying to line up another interview the next day afterwards, but just a great story. Well done to yourself. Well done to Regan Todd as well, and the owners, Breckens. Everyone's sticking with the horse. Because they could sort of move a lot of those horses on as well. So he's a real good story, this horse, only racing for 2 years so far, or not even 2 years technically, is it? So he's a great little story. Mate, thank you very much for joining me, and congratulations on yesterday, and keep driving the winners, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully. Cheers. Thanks, Paul, and thanks for everyone listening.
Right, Matty, after catching up with Robbie, she was an action-packed race. I think, I've got the wrong screen on. Don't stress over that. That's what happens with the good timing. There we go. She was an action-packed race. This start, Better Eclipse was horrible, but it might help him for Tuesday.
Yeah, potentially could have been a false start this race because Kango's cleaned up half of the horses outside him. Better Eclipse was going sideways. I think the experience will be good for him.
Yep. And driver, and I don't think Greg would mind saying that.
No. As we talked about, every starter is different. Every starting method is different. No matter where you go around New Zealand or Australia, the starters treat standing starts a little bit differently. So he's going to have a better idea. I think what we saw from him inside the last lap suggests that, he's travelled over here well, and he clearly relishes being in New Zealand and racing in New Zealand.
Very brave drive that by Greg. Just there, we'll catch up on the Mwonga in a minute. Tack McLeod up the front doing a few moves, but just he elected. Greg just said, "Rightio, we've missed it. We can't give these horses a start." So he takes the shortest route home. Does pop off the fence here in a minute, but he respects the Kiwi horses. That's for sure. He drives them no different to this in Australia, but it's just a great sign of respect, I think, for the horses he was racing against.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think he would have wanted to keep down on that first marker just to see and make sure that he was going to get round it too.
Yep.
Because it can be a bit of a tricky bend. This is where the race changed complexity for me, because Mark Harrell's about to launch Wagstar. And I thought, here we go. David Butcher's parked with Kango. David has a look. I thought he's going to hand up. And then I went, no. Now, I've got a theory that if Wagstar had got around Kango, Sam Otley would have handed up on Tack McLeod.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost certain she would have, because I think Tack McLeod's a better horse chasing, not leading. And the two races that he has led up in, he's been just okay to the line. Whereas you go back through the runs in this cup preparation where he set off the speed and joined in the last bit, he's been powerful through the line.
Yep.
And I think Sam was preparing to, as I look at my laptop battery's about to die, hand up to him. So that completely changed the complexity of the race. And then, of course, Kango's under pressure here. Wagstar's done a pair of work. Charlie Brown's getting a nice drag into it. Better Eclipse is on his back 3 wide. And Robbie Close is just smoking the cherry. Briar sitting in the trail and ready to unleash up the passing lane and get the job done.
Really smart drive. Could have pushed off underneath Mark Harrell there and would have got out, but it was still too far from home for him. He was just patient.
Yeah, and I think he knew what horse he had in front of him.
Yeah.
So, And as you'll see, he just clears away and wins this with absolute ease. So no surprise, really, for Melbourne.
Better Eclipse outstanding down the outside getting home. Mostale Ben, as I said, maybe a bit unlucky because he has found the line terrific there and was absolutely terrific in that there. Charlie Brown was good. I thought Tack McLeod was good. I thought Wagstar was terrific.
Yep. There were some good runs in behind. Mac Shah got no room up the straight.
Yep.
He was climbing all over them. American Me was much, much better. He's back heading towards where he needs to be, which is good. So he'll enjoy the 2 miles of next Tuesday. So, yeah, there's a bit of form to come out of that. But did we see the Cup winner? No.
No, probably not.
No.
Maybe better Eclipse with the right run.
We've got 19%, Paul, so we can press on for a little bit.
Right. Is that
I left because I left the charger in Ashburton this morning, so I can't plug it in.
That's your way of saying move, is that right? Right, let's go to the Trotters. We'll go to the Trotters. I've got too many mice happening here. The South Bay Trotters Cup, Mystic Max, great to see him return to form for Michael Purdon. He was terrific. Again, standing start, a few curveballs, Greg Sugars. Didn't enjoy the start of this race either when it eventually loads up for me, Matty. But he was just caught unawares. I think again here, Greg, with 1 overall. But Mystic Max certainly loves this race.
Yeah, he does. And I tell you what, he's in the zone at the moment there, Trotter too, because he was very good behind Bet and Win in the Canterbury Park Classic. And he's always been a very, very good open class trotter, but the brain hasn't quite matched the motor. So to see him trotting nice and square and doing everything right, and I think young Michael Purdon's actually learned a bit about the horse in the past 12 months, and he's had a beautiful preparation towards the Dominion, and you cannot write him off. You cannot, because he is very, very quick, and if he gets the right kind of trip, he's a definite player with his high speed. So good run from him. Great run from Mighty Logan, who obviously did some early work to get up onto the speed. And, I thought Gold Bullion was good too. He's not going to the Dominion. He'll go to a lower grade race on Cup Day, so you'd look out for him there. But, that's 1 overall going off stride there. He'd been parked out 3 wide by John Dunn, so he was probably in a power of hurt as it was anyway.
Yep.
But, yeah, just beautiful Blair Orange drive as we've come to expect, and he gets around Kaikoura and corners around there beautifully, and he straightened up and just won it pretty easy, I thought, in the end.
I'll scrub forward half this 200 metres. Gold Bullion, Bobby Butt ducking back in there was a smart move because it is hard out wide, but I like the look Blair Orange has over his shoulder here, so where he's just so confident. He's got so much, you say about in the zone, he's got so much confidence in the horse underneath him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he is a very confident driver, Blair. They call it the Blair glare over here when he looks over that shoulder to see where everyone is. And Mark McNamara was the man who created that saying, and it always was said that if you saw the Blair glare come out, that it was going to be very hard to beat whatever Blair was driving. So it's generally the case too, because when he does pull it out, he generally goes on and wins it. Yeah,
I did like that. Again, I'm not sure we saw the Dominion handicap. I keep calling it the Dominion handicap, just an old habit. They die hard. But I don't think we saw the Dominion winner out of that race.
Mystic Max sat in the trail. I wouldn't be surprised if he won it. He's a very good horse. Don't underestimate just how good he is, actually.
All right, well, you're a good form judge, so I definitely won't underestimate it. Rightio, I've got to scroll down. There's got too much going on here. The NZB Standardbred Yearling Sales. I've got the wrong hat on. Yeah, I can do that.
I was about to tell you to change your hat.
Look after C. Bray, and don't forget to get behind him. Doing his 120 Ks. I don't think he's pulling up real well. Right, this race, Matty, I've done some little doctoring here with this video. This race was marred by a bit of an incident at the start. We're sooner the better there under the red arrow. This is amazing how these two guys get out of this. I'll actually slow it down and blow it up here in a minute. You can see both horses. Watch here. This is ridiculous how one didn't get locked up completely. How Zach doesn't get flipped out there has got me buggered. Now, I know sooner the better was disappointing. I love Blair Orange. You say about the look. Actually, I wonder if I can get that back. I can, I think. I'll just scroll that back a little bit here. You say about the Blair glare. Jared O'Reilly, he doesn't even look. He's like, boys, you worry about yourselves. Blair, who ends up being the winner, he's having a sustained look to see if the boys stayed in the card or not. I suppose he's worrying about his main danger. So, and these two couldn't care less. I enjoyed that. They just like, well, that's a racing incident. Game on. But,
they reckon you could hear it.
Oh,
the clash of the carts, and that was probably what prompted Blair to have a good look, because obviously that it impacts the race too. And those drivers are very aware of what's going on around them from a safety point of view as well. But you've got one horse going backwards at a great deal of knots and another one going forward, because sooner the better it actually begun pretty well. Carter Dalgetty actually did really well to miss it too. He went down to the inside, and he was lucky that he didn't get Zach's other wheel and lift him from the other side, because then would have been real trouble. But Blair obviously missed it. Leicester obviously missed it. They run 1-2. Rakiro Rocket, who was the one that was galloping, that's him sitting park now. He's gone massive.
Yeah,
huge performance. Yeah.
Sooner the better. He's the second horse 3D. Now, I was prepared to forgive him for that from that start, because for mine, that could knock an inexperienced horse, probably knocked an experienced horse off its game, if you like. And then Zach wasn't real keen to get 4 deep around his turn, and anyone been there will know why. But obviously the camp weren't happy with him, and probably how he's pulled up afterwards. But wish me luck. Blair Orange in front. Hayden Cullen is just having a rip and run. And this horse was terrific to the line again. Leicester, I thought he was going to get there. Did think he was going to get there for a while.
Oh, I give him a little red-headed friend a bit of a yell halfway down the straight. I thought she was going to get there, and I think she probably thought she was going to get there too. Look, he's run second, beaten by exactly the same margin of the last 2 editions to that race, poor bugger. But he's gone super again. Yeah, Rakiro Rocket was good. They've run home in 55.9, so sooner the better's run coming wide. It's probably not actually that bad. But obviously there's just something there that Barry and Scott aren't happy with, and that's why he is now missing the New Zealand Cup. Funny story in his case, because he hasn't actually won that many races. I'm just looking up. He's won 5. He's a rating 69 over here.
Oh no!
So he can drop back into a lower grade race. I think there's an up to 70 that'll be split 3 or 4 ways on Cup Day. He doesn't even have to go into the junior free for all, where he'd have to race Catch a Wave and a Hoka Connor. You just drop back into a graded race worth $25,000, probably absolutely destroy them. For a horse that ran second in the Miracle Mile within the last 12 months, that is mind-boggling. But, yeah, just an odd fact out of that. Good performances from the first 2. Leicester's a nice horse. He'll pick up a country cup. I think he's going to Timaru in a couple of weeks for their cup down there, and then you'll likely see him on one of the circuits, whether it be Westport or Cromwell. Rakiro Rocket's clearly a horse that's got a big future. The 2 horses that have won the race before, Heisenberg won it 5 years ago. He's run 4th. And Warlock won it 3 years ago. He's run 5th. So, yeah, great race.
No, it is. I've got that field up there for you for the Aussies, because they go from the bottom up. Australia, you've got to remember this. So, the horse of Telfers is outside the quarantine, or the qualification. Shouldn't say quarantine. Qualification. So, he's the number 1 ranked horse. Going around against a lot lesser grade, if you like. Still some nice horses. Hadron Kalita Fernetti took him on the other day. It's not a walkover by any stretch, Matty, but it is a big turnaround into the race that he was going to be running in.
Oh, 100%. And, he'd probably win that, and he'd probably look to try and get a start in the New Zealand free-for-all on the Friday. So, it won't be easy, but I think just looking at those nominations, so you'll take the top 14 from him up, and that'll be the field. I think he's probably just better than them, and he just wins on Cup Day. If it's preferential barrier draw, which I haven't looked at, potentially could be preferential barrier draw. He'll draw bad, but if he draws the outside of the front line, he's got enough gate speed to get across them, so no problems there.
Preferential barrier draw based on rating when winning stakes.
Right. So his rating is obviously the highest, and he's won nearly $200,000 more than the next highest rated horse. So don't he's going to draw 9.
He's not going to get barrier 1, that's for sure.
No, he's going to get 9. There's no doubt about that. So, those nominations are out for Cup Day and can be viewed on HRNZ, which is cool. They're obviously, the fields are out tomorrow. There's 8 horses at this stage to go around in the junior free-for-all, but worth noting that horses that were still nominated for the New Zealand Trotting Cup obviously have the option of dropping into that race or another race. So take a horse like Pin Seeker, for example. I think he'll drop back into the same sort of grade as sooner the better.
Yep. Serious?
And yeah.
Right.
Yep. So pretty much from the New Zealand Trotting Cup point of view, Pin Seeker, Here's Herbie, Triple G, and Got You Covered can all drop back into that same grade that sooner the better is. Outside of that, the likes of Lady of the Light, Mossdale Ben, the Big Lebowski, Wagstar, Da Vinci, etc., they will be forced into going to the junior free-for-all if they want to go around on Tuesday, just with the way the ratings are.
Okay, matey, you're going to have to throw your official hat on here for 1 sec. In Australia, we have to nominate. So if we want to go in that junior free-for-all, because it's a nominated race, we would still have to nominate in that. In New Zealand, you don't have to do that if you miss out on a race higher, or is it only the New Zealand Trotting Cup that happens?
No, it's only the New Zealand Trotting Cup.
Okay.
And because there's been obviously sustaining payments and early nominations for that, they are still listed because they have not withdrawn from the New Zealand Trotting Cup. They will be listed as nominations for that race. So once the final field's done, the surplus of what's left over will be then transferred into other races on the program because it's not their fault that they can't nominate for one of those other races.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's good to know. Very, very good. And I will just say one other little thing again for the Australians. This is not in ratings order, so when you see these, of course, you go from the bottom up. There's a couple of anomalies, one mainly being a Rhoda there, up underneath Mwonga, Beach Ball, Tack McLeod, Dalton Shard, Franco Merrick, American Me even. They're all in the cup before that horse. So just when you look at the nominations, go to the ratings, not to the rest of it. Matty, the rest of the Kaikoura meeting, there were some nice winners early on. The 2 Albert race number 1, Solomon's Son for the Camerons. I actually haven't watched a replay of this race, and it caught me unawares over here because it was on a bit early.
Yeah, bolted in. 12.5 lengths. What a way to start the day. Led him up. Had been going really good too. And Ian Cameron has always had handy trotters in his family. This one's out of a pretty handy mare that he had called Gina's Brightest. I think she was a pretty capable young trotting filly. She's left a whole heap of winners that they've all trained. So homebred, driven by his son Kyle, who does a good job. Deserved a maiden win. Probably didn't predict that it would win by 12.5 lengths. Absolutely jogging, given that it had 20 odd starts and hadn't broken maidens.
Does Kyle work at the Gallops?
No.
Okay. No, it's all good.
He might do.
142 starts. I'm not sure if he does it. He's not a barrier attendant. If he's a gentleman I met. If he's not, I apologise. But if he is,
no, you're thinking of Kyle Campbell.
He's a good bloke. That bloke. With a surname like that, he couldn't be anything else. Right, race 2. This was super impressive. I probably should have the replay for this one up. Sassy Ann, I don't have to actually because it was in the Robbie Close interview. This was a super impressive debut for Mark Jones on a very, very tricky track. Had no right to win this horse, did it?
No, it didn't. Very, very fast. And Mark had said that pre-race. So out of a pretty handy mare called Ari Adne Lavra, who won 5 of 10 over here and was very, very smart. Mark actually trained her. I think she might have had a few injuries. She's left one other foal that's gone to the races, and it's actually Minos, who has done a pretty good job over on your side of the Tasman Sea from memory.
Yeah. What's his name? Robbie Morris.
Correct. Yep.
Actually has a couple of quirks too, which this one might or may not have as well. Just going to replay it. I found it to get it up. The horse last on the outside. If you haven't watched me Robbie Close interview, go back and watch that because he speaks very highly. Gets a bit wayward here. Then all of a sudden, it's like it finds a straight line on that track, and it's like, oh, yeah, I know what to do now, and away it goes.
Yeah, a lot of high speed there. Lots of high speed. She'll go on and do a good job. Obviously, important for them because they got their $12,000 bonus for winning their first race, which is obviously a good result. So, very good.
No, it was a very good win. That Minos is, he's a lovely horse. Took on all the best horses last year. He's the sort of horse as a 5-year-old people are going to go, where's this horse come from? But you're spot on. Nice horse. Bullet Train, Mark Jones double, Sam Autry. Again, we spoke about this horse, but this horse has done a good job.
Yeah, and he's got a long way to go to catch up to his brother, obviously, though, Paul. Can you figure out who his brother is just by looking at his breeding?
Begin? No.
He's a half brother. He's a half brother to Tornado Valley.
Oh wow!
There you go. Bred and originally trained by the same man that developed Tornado Valley before Andy and Kate brought him.
Do you know? I'll tell you. Actually, I can do it. I'll show you what I did. I actually did look this horse's form up before, and you can see the screen there. What you got to do is actually just go down that little bit further than that. I had a look at its breeding when I punched it up, and it comes up at about there. I didn't go that last little bit. There's a trick for young players, Matty. You've got to be a bit smarter than that from time to time. So
Yeah.
when you were saying that, I was like, that's another one of my sponsors too. Look at you go. I'll change hats again and look after the guys from Aldebaran Park with Sky Valley, Tornado Valley. You see what I did?
Very good. Very good. No, he's a nice trotter. He goes around in a junior drivers race at Rangiora on Friday. Carter Dalgety takes the drive.
Good meeting.
But yeah, very good meeting.
Telfers combined. Timmy Williams in the car, rock or bust, got up and beat Tokyo Rose.
He's
only got up there and beat it. Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah, very good. Given first go out of maidens and beat some pretty nice horses in the process too. So he'll go on to do a good job. Telford team starting to really warm up ahead of Cup Week, which is good.
Right, this is a horse I want to talk about, or this is a race I want to talk about with the return to form of High Step. We've spoken at nauseum about the young trainers coming through in this industry and the people and the presentation that these guys are doing. But to see High Step, Redwood winner last year, back into winning form, Matty, is absolutely terrific for the racing. But the slot race, there might be a few people wishing they might have sat on their hands for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was good from her. First up from a good spell and obviously enjoying life out at the beach. She showed a lot of high speed. And to be fair, beat some pretty good horses too.
Yeah.
Tutangata and Masterly. Maui, who of course ran fourth to bet and win last Monday. So Bob Butt managed to get off the fence around the start of the highway bend, and that's him 1 out 3 back in the Brecon Silks. Looking to start to work his way into it now. But gee, when she got clear and let down, she was very good.
Yeah. Showed that speed again, which is, so good for the industry.
Yeah. And I mean, this is just another continuation of a very good trotting family. She's obviously out of Highgate, who was a Breeders' Crown winner.
Yep.
So actually, Regan Todd trained Highgate to win a Breeders' Crown, would you believe? I think it was his first Group 1 winning training effort.
Yep.
Driven by Mark Purdon, off the top of my head. There you go.
Yep, I reckon you're right.
She did good. And Two Tangata's an up and fit racehorse, so to hold it off was very good, I thought.
Yeah, and Two Tangata's in the Dominion. You've also got Maui now in the Dominion. Like, it is a nice field, and terrific to see. If you saw what I'm doing here when the camera's not on me, mate, I just go to grab a mouse and it's always the wrong one. I've got 3 of them, so it's.
I could say the same. I could say the same about me, so don't worry.
It is all good, but no, well done. We said there before about Michael House having a good day at the office. Delightful Dreams, good winner, beautifully bred horse by Better Delight out of Splendid Dreams, and well done to him and all the connections.
Yeah, very good. Obviously, a half brother to Hans Christian, Chris and me.
Yep.
And then you go back through the Skews Me family, so then obviously becomes related to the likes of Adore Me and everything else that's come from that family. Well, just the first family of harness racing, really, that one. Nice horse too, developing into a really nice horse. I think you'll get better. Paul, We've got 4%.
The last race, Spirit of Anarchy for the Dalgettys. Probably they deserved a winner because they didn't have the best of days.
No, they got one on Sunday with Rushkinoff obviously winning, but didn't have a lot of luck with Fernetti and the other horse, Franco Sinatra, but beautifully summed up drive from Carter Dalgety. I was very keen on this horse. And I actually thought it wouldn't have been the worst one to get a slot because it races so well when it's on the speed and it's got a lot of gate speed. Beat home a
Matty's gone. He's got the arms up. I'm just going to leave it at that. I've got to say a huge thank you to him. He's under pressure now. He's just logged out. And that's got to be very confusing for people. What I might be able to